Hello guys, we are here at the World's 2014 Showdown. Netrunner is the game. My name is Steven.
My name is Robert.
Hello Robert.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. This is game 23 in the bracket. It's a massive bracket because the double elimination tournament with 16 players. So that entails a lot of games and a lot of winners and losers brackets resolving. David, we just saw come off of an awesome last game. Squeaked out with his scorched version of Endgame. And then we have Ben on the left playing Near Earth Hub. And these guys are going to be playing, of course, to move on through this bracket, and we're going to see if they're going to be able to do just that.
Now, NEH seemed to be a pretty hot little commodity in this tournament. Was that something that you were expecting going in, or did it just kind of shape up that way?
Yeah, I think every player expected NEH. Most of us really tested extensively and almost exclusively against this ID. It was the winning ID at Gen Con National Tournament, and really took that entire tournament by storm. Sweeps against Andy. That's such a good open for Indian.
Sure
but this deck isn't doing anything fancy that Indian hasn't always done. The only difference is that it has more influence to work with. It has more action economy with drawing cards off installs, and it kind of incentivizes running asset-based economy, which MBN is pretty good at doing anyway. So all these things kind of combined with NAPD, Sweep coming down the pipe, and it kind of formed this great, fast advanced monster that is NEH and its various iterations, some of them being Scorch, some of them being, what is your ice? Is it Architect? Is it Lotus Field? Those kinds of things. But
yeah.
Same general idea. Score the Astro script, and then do it again until you win.
Just keep doing it. That's what NBN has always been about.
Right, but let's not, Robert. Let's not turn a blind eye to Miss Andromeda.
Classic.
Who has been around the game for 1,000 years, it seems like.
1,000.
And we have a classic Andy opening, a sure gamble into Dirty Laundry, into Easy Mark, and then a Fairy. So a ton of money up front, and then still with a 5-card hand to start the game. Kind of taking kind of a pre-turn there with Andy's opening. A lot of times you would rather establish like the Desperado, sometimes the security testing, just to make exactly what Andy's doing right now way more. Did I say Andy? I meant David. Exactly what David's doing right now, way more efficient, right? He's checking early servers, making things happen, and if he had Desperado security testing, these things would be way better. And he goes through Architect with his Fairy. Some people will question that. We all hate Architect as runners. Thanks, Jeremy. But I don't know that it's worth ferrying right yet. Maybe so. Hard to say.
Maybe so. Who knows? Things could get crazy in a hurry with Architect.
Yes, they could. With the discard pile not being too impressive, it's not as bad. So Mimic comes out. Going to answer Architect immediately and then pass the turnover. Ben's got an install to draw off NEH. And as you well know, what makes a fast deck faster? Robert, quiz.
Fastness.
Card draw or money?
That's what I meant.
Card draw is the answer that I'm looking for. Of course, money is card draw. Card draw is money. Weakness is power. Strength is weakness.
The truth is a lie.
Truth is a lie. Stillness is perfection. And the NAPD is seen, and you gotta score that unless you're running the mid-season Scorch variant. And it says no.
Wow.
Not scoring that NAPD.
No thanks. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that particular agenda has done more to reshape the meta than almost any other agenda in the game.
Well, you'd be a wise man because I think you're absolutely correct. It's a really interesting agenda, right? Because on face value, it's actually supremely balanced and well done. It's a 4-2. You never really want to score it.
That's right.
It's not that much. I mean, four credits, that's a sure gamble to score an 2-point agenda that the Corp can't really do anything with.
Yeah.
It occasionally gets scored, very rarely. Just incentivizes bad publicity. A lot of things about that agenda that are really quite balanced, but whenever the meta is so tight between runners and Corps, and the economies are so tight, and everything about the game is just 1 credit or 2 credits away from switching tempo one way or the other, having to spend 4 credits on an agenda steal can just feel like way too much.
Yeah, and I've seen plenty of games just within this tournament where people spending that kind of money to score that agenda can make such a huge difference. You know, it's like Is it worth it? Is it not? It depends so much on what the situation is. But anyway, it makes a big impact to have to spend that kind of cash to get an agenda.
Yes, it does. And even with the opening that is all money, essentially, it still was not stolen. So there's something to be said for that. We got the 2 pad campaigns are up now. And Andy never liking asset economy unless security testing is up.
Not at all. It's fun to see pad campaigns, though. I feel like they've kind of waned considerably in their appreciation within the meta and a lot of players' minds. But I've seen more of them recently than I have in, I guess, the 6-9 months prior.
Ever, yeah. I mean, we're talking probably years of no pad campaign meta. It was so hot for a while just because the exchange is good for the Corp. But now, with NEH promoting that exchange even more, getting a card draw as well, it really seals that card in. And we've got a pretty solid look here. Andy, the runner Andy, David playing Andy, has really kind of slowed the game down a little bit in a good way. We haven't seen that first Astro yet. Corp's somewhat poor, putting pressure now on the NAPD steal, and I think that is a phenomenal move. That also threatens some weird stuff, like maybe sweeps into mid-seasons or something. And here we have a sneak door. Oh, and there it is. Beautiful play.
That is a huge,
just the
huge
correct
steal. Holy smokes.
David could not be more correct in what he has done right here. And I think the final curtain steal the NAPD here, right?
Whew.
He installed it. Yeah, he paid it all for sneak door.
Man, that is crazy. Well done. Just well done.
He continues to have sneak door. It looks like, Ben just drew into another Astro script. So now he's got a choice. Is he going to score out the NAPD? Or is he going to...
He's going to pad that hand.
Pad the hand, yeah.
Oh, and protect it a little bit.
So he protects it and leaves the NAPD. I think now is the time for David to go and get that. You don't want to mess around. If he has, I think he's only got 1 card in hand. He's not going to be able to do it. That's a real bummer. Man, what a pincer move here. I don't know which side I like better in this exchange, to be honest.
There. So he didn't have the cash to steal it, I guess. So I guess that impacted.
Couldn't get the cash and chose instead to go sneak door, which turned out to be correct. He got the Astra and the breaking news. Gives now a free 2 points.
Woo! If he had the cash. And there
Biotic
it is.
for Astra, and the NAPD sits still. Crazy that David has the chance to go to 5 points here for nothing.
That's pretty awesome, honestly.
I don't know how you don't take this, honestly.
Boom.
Dirty laundry on the pad campaign.
Get some cash. You need it.
I think he has to steal this.
Yeah, you got to get that
He can't be
NPD.
worried about mid-seasons here. There's no money. And Desperado. Wow.
Classic. What a great console.
All right, and then goes and fetches R&D. So now,
there it is.
There's 2 more points. I think
Surprising.
you have to go steal that thing,
Yeah,
man.
I agree.
I understand why you don't want to, but like really, how much better is your situation for not stealing that? You could be on 5 right now. Game point, that puts the Corp on edge.
Yeah, totally.
Now R&D is 1 point away from, or 1 agenda away from just winning you the game.
That's right.
1 sneak door run away. Man.
I do not disagree whatsoever.
You can control Sands and try to control money. There's breaking news.
This is getting away here.
And look, now we're at 5.
Yeah.
Imagine the NEPD wasn't
if this
scored,
table
Robert.
was turned.
Imagine.
Yeah. I fully agree here. I think it was maybe a mistake there to have not gotten it. But who am I?
There's 2 players putting their cojones on the table.
That's right.
That's what we call that in River City.
Andy getting some cash. Making that run. Sneaking it.
Sneak door, no res. Of course, 1 credit. I think, is there any goods in here is the question. Desperado making this a lot more profitable. It looks like R&D may be dry, or HQ may be dry.
Yeah, it looked like very dry. It's the dry season.
Man, 2 credits a turn off those pad campaigns is really just going to speed this game up for Ben now. And, man, if he hadn't had those earlier, sweep, if he hadn't had those pad campaigns early, he would not be able to be in this position.
Is that something that you should go for? Trash those pads?
Man, it really all depends on your setup. I don't think David really had an opening to do it.
Yeah.
But you try to make one because he had a ton of money coming into the beginning of this game with his first turn plays. He could have cashed some of that out to kill these pads, and that would have been a lot harder for Ben to handle.
That's
but
true.
then again, what would he have sacrificed in order to do that? A lot of early tempo stuff, a lot of runs. So it's just hard to say.
Yeah. You give up a lot of stuff to see some opportunities, and it's like, man, how do you really assess the impact of those as the game plays out as compared to the other fork in the road that you might have taken? It's such a fun thing to assess.
Yeah, and the real thing that these NBN decks can do is biotic labor, right? And that requires you to have money. It's a 7 total to put the Aster out. So you're paying 7 to do that. If you're recouping 2 every turn, that is no longer a big deal for you.
Yeah.
And it just allows that biotic to be a way stronger play. If you don't have those pads, I mean, you're looking at 2 turns of sunk cost just to get that biotic Aster out, which I think is fair. It's
fair. Man, if it cost any less, whew.
That would be a disaster, wouldn't it?
It would be. Jeez. Everybody'd be doing it. Not that they almost aren't already.
Yeah, it's hard to deny. 4 credits for a
Data
click.
sucker.
There's the data sucker.
One of my faves, man.
And
classic.
David just feeling very behind here. He's kind of got this first turn setup about 7 turns into the game.
Wall of static up.
Breaks the wall of static, I believe, looks like. And then he breaks the architect as well. And there it is.
Nothing.
Been doing his full alt art versions of a lot of the cards that he has, which I think is really tight, by the way.
Yes, I agree.
Maybe not for tournament play. But,
yeah. What is that?
But I love the idea.
There's a lot of that going around.
Yeah,
honestly.
I love the idea of like, you flip ice or you flip a card or something, and then the full art is just sitting there, no text, no nothing. It just makes it really cool. And here we see Ben doing exactly what you have to do whenever you're on 5 and your opponent. You just need to seal up R&D so that you can draw into an agenda and win. You have an Astro counter, you just need to draw into a Beal or an Astro here. You just don't want him to pull it off the top, and I think David's going to be looking to control the top of R&D as much as possible. 7 credits makes that unresed ice a little bit scarier.
Yeah.
Nothing I'd be too concerned about, but no code gate breaker. Could just be a quandary to keep him out.
Yeah, you don't want to be caught in that position where you've just left yourself nothing, and somebody has just gotten right into R&D and taken that agenda right off the top of your
out
deck.
from under your
It's like, I needed that to win. Hey.
And tosses the Fim. We now have a toll booth potentially online at the top of R&D, which would be a huge disaster. That would be pretty much keep David out, I think,
forever
until the game ended.
Yeah. But look at all the cash he has now. He can do whatever he wants, whenever he wants.
Draw, and that's a scary draw for me. That means that Sneak Door is now actually going to see a decent card.
4th ice.
And a 4th ice on R&D. Checks what is probably a Sansan here.
Is he trashing it? He shouldn't.
Well, he goes right to 5.
Not with that cash. Not with that cash machine that he doesn't have.
He's got to trash it.
You think
Or else he just, he can res. I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question. It opens up NAPD. If he doesn't trash it, he can res the Sansan, use the Astro counter, and score NAPD from hand. That's the only thing that it does. Otherwise, every other agenda is live with that Astro counter. So
it's a good point.
It's
leaving it.
You just kind of have to take a guess. Is there an NAPD in hand or not? And Sneak Door happens, and so that's exactly what the line is here. Well, I'm going to go find that NAPD.
Is this it?
And there's a pop-up. So at least there's one unknown card in HQ. If it's an NAPD, David's probably thinking, I'm losing this game.
Yeah.
Otherwise, and there he sees the mark. So now he knows there's no NAPD. He doesn't have to worry about that Sansan quite yet.
Yeah.
R&D is still a bit of an issue. And he is going to go trash the Sansan. Don't know about that. If he draws NAPD here, that's the right call. But he hit the other marked.
Man, that trickle of econ here.
Look at that money. And this is just a fortress happening here.
Yeah, he's nicely iced now.
Andy is rarely in a position to do this. And Robert, I hate to say it, but really, again, how different would this look if that NAPD was on the other side of the table?
Very.
I think that's a very important moment in this match.
Yep. Yeah, kind of defining here, because you're exactly right. It kind of puts the onus on the other player to try to get to where they need to be for their victory condition, and those kinds of opportunities aren't common, especially when you knew exactly what the field was looking like at that point in time. So I think it might have been a missed opportunity there.
He'd be in on 5 points is the worst.
It's so scary.
There's any number of things you could see a fast track, that would be an issue here. All right, Sansan install is actually going to give a little bit of breathing room.
That's right.
That means that David now has the at least ability to access HQ and see an agenda instead of only hitting them off R&D. At a certain point, there's the Sansan again. At
Will
some
he
point,
trash
you
it?
have to wonder, like, is it better to just not draw, but once for your turn, money, ice. Once for your turn, money, ice, until you get that agenda. Then again, given Criminal, a time window is always a bit stressful. Let him get his code gate breaker and go establish things. He's got to install over that sneak door to do anything, so that's also a threat you don't mind seeing off the table. And just straight up HQ looks good here.
Everything's looking very nice here. Very respectable.
Look at that ice. Look at that ice placement. It's very pretty. It's a nice looking set of servers.
Yeah, it's very uniform. I would expect that more to be from an HB corp than an NBN corp. Expect them to be a little bit more erratic. I don't know why.
Absolutely. You know, and looking back on this tournament, to be honest, I don't think NEH was the strongest corp to bring to this.
Whoa, tell us why.
It's true. Well, there's just the thing that you have to remember is like NEH kind of got popular at the same time that corps just were getting better.
Right.
And I think there was a lot of conclusions drawn between NEH being around.
Well, I think we just saw
the NAPD.
Yeah, exactly.
So if that Sand sticks around for one more turn, this game's over.
GG. Moment of truth here.
Yeah.
Can he get into HQ? I don't think so. I don't think he has the money.
Yeah, get into HQ, and then he's got 10, and he's got to get 4 to steal that NAPD.
Yeah, I don't think he has the plus the 6 that he needs to break all that ice, and then have the 4 left. He's got to hit
1 out of 5.
Now, he does have 3 tokens on his data sucker, so that would help. But we'll have to wait and see what this ice is.
This is reasonable. Again, he just falls to quandary here, so it's a problem. It's a problem. Anyway, I think NEH correlates to that moment in the game when Corps really got the leg up. I'm not sure that it's the reason, though. It's obviously good. There's a lot of good numbers behind it.
There's a lot of extenuating stuff going on, for sure.
Yeah, and NBN is NBN as it always has been. It's always been this good, really. Maybe a little bit better, but you look at, look at HB. Look at how good HB can be right now.
HB is crazy.
Look at how good Wayland can be now with Blue Sun. Look at Jinteki. Unbelievable showing at this tournament and in tournaments previous. So I don't think this is an NEH thing. I think that at Worlds in particular,
Corp
maybe the style of players that we are or what have you, this is just the deck that everyone decided to bring because it's a little easier, it's a little lighter, and it's faster. You feel in control. And that can be a really strong feeling in a long tournament. Yeah,
there's a lot to be said for how much you have to work with your deck in order to win with it. That will help a player make that determination on what they actually want to bring to a tournament.
And R&D sees an inside job. Now, this is a wild play. You're really looking to score, 4 points right off the top here.
Wow, 2 Eli's?
Yeah, and there's just going to be no money for this. Just no money.
Holy smokes.
And this is,
That's an investment, too. Sadly, I think the jig is up next turn.
I think he can get through, but unless he hits, Astro Beal, man. In which case,
it's not gonna work.
There would be much rejoicing.
What?
And it looks like he whips both.
Dang.
And that should be the game.
Yep.
Ben knows it.
Rez and
Zorak knows it, etc.
Advance.
And NAPD Astro. There it is, guys. All right. Well, we have another great showing of Netrunner here. Just some of these games, and no matter how... It's funny because it's similar matchups. You see Andy, you see NEH. Different builds of each generally, and certainly the games always have different outcomes and exciting moments. So very cool. Congrats to both Andy and Ben.
Guys,
I believe Andy at this point is not Andy. I believe David at this point is knocked out of the tournament. And good showing from the old UK national champion.
Great game, guys.
We got more coming, and stick with us here at TeamCovenant.com for all of your Netrunner needs. We'll see you later.
Peace.